Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Conversations with Roslyn. I'm Dr. Roslyn Knox, and as you know, every week we come to talk about the things that matter most to you. So I give a little hump day inspiration by making sure that I give the little to you based on the questions that you ask me. So today we're going to do something a little bit a little bit different because this is a question that we face a lot, right? Many of us face this question in follow through. So today we're going to talk about follow through issues to where why is it that every time I'm trying to do something personal for myself, I can't ever seem to follow through? What is up with that and why? And, I know that it's something that we all struggle with. Even the most organized, get it done person will find this happens every now and then. But for the rest of us, it happens more than we'd like it to. And so, I want to just kind of start with saying that too many times when you start talking about, hey, you need to write this out, plan it out, set it up, then people go, you know what, it's just too much. It's just too much. I don't have time to do all that writing. Well, my question to you then is, how's that working out for you, right? Like, is that working for you that you're having less issues with follow through when you don't take active plans? So remember what I tell you all the time. I'm all about having the wins in my pocket, but I'm also here to tell you that it doesn't fall out of the sky. You've got to put the work in on these changes that you want to make, right? So let's get started with this. My insight on follow through is that you've got to kind of do 4 different things. And let me give you a little prelude to this. I once did a seminar on this, and we're going to kind of go through some steps that like I took one person through that kind of helped to see and to quantify this follow through. And it seems trivial or it seems may not be such a big deal to some, but it could be any simple thing that you're trying to accomplish, any goal, any change, any task. And so the first thing I want to say is that decide, right? That's always the number one. Once you decide something, then it's kind of like, okay, this is what's getting ready to happen. And here's how it's going to happen, right? So you decide on it. Then you look and you say, okay, what needs to, how will I know that I'm getting this done? Because remember, it's the follow through. There comes a point in time when you're all gung-ho to do it. Everything's working out great. We're rolling, right? And then something happens. Whoop, there it goes. No win in the pocket, right? Just another feeling of, jeez, right? We don't want that. So after you decided what's going to happen, you decide, why do I want this to happen? Then you begin to set up a plan based on having the issue with the follow through. To begin to set up a plan and say, okay, what am I going to do when it gets to the point where I can feel it's falling off, right? Like, what triggers this falling off? I mean, have an active conversation with yourself. I don't care if it is just you committing to brushing your teeth before you go to bed at night. Each one of these steps, each one of these little wins are the things that put you further ahead when you're making changes and how to have tools to accomplish the things that you're setting out to take, right? So we've established what we want to do. This is getting ready to happen. How it's getting ready to happen. Uh-oh. Obstacles. What's going to happen? A, B, C gets in your way. Next thing you know, Follow through is out the window. It's not happening. So get a pen, get a piece of paper. Here's a couple of tips that I say right there at that point, because that's the follow through issue right there, is when the obstacles come and then you let them happen, right? You can't let them happen. So you have to set up a plan to evict the obstacles. You're out of here. Done. But remember, you have to replace it with something. And you have to replace it with that end goal in mind, okay? So this is just a little example, a little something I did at a seminar I was doing, okay? So maybe it'll work for you. So I asked a member, I said, okay, give me something. Give me something that you want to do personally for yourself, okay? And that you're going to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get this done. I want this change. I want to do this. Well, for her, it was a book. She is a professional. She wanted to increase her knowledge. She wanted to read more, and she feels very successful when she reads. So she says, you know what, Doc, I'm needing to read more because it means a lot to me to get used to reading. So I said, okay, let's look at what it is that keeps you from following through, because she talked about how she'll start a book and she'll stop and maybe pick it up later and this and that. So I said, let's put this in terms of cost, right? Let's put this in terms of cost benefit ratio, okay? So the first thing, we have a little square, right? And I say, okay, so what is it that you want to change? She says, I want to read the book. I want to read this book. I want to get it done within a month's time because I know I got all this other stuff going on. So I'm realistic and I know that I need to read this book in a month's time. Okay, cool. Let's do that. All right. So what is going to be the benefit, of you reading this book in a month's time? Right? What do you want? She says, I want to read because it's going to better prepare me as I get ready. I'm going back to school. It's going to better prepare me for all the books I've got to read. I feel so accomplished. I feel great. It's a great thing. Once I do that, I feel more committed instead of feeling so defeated. Okay? So I said, okay, good. So we've got that the current situation is you're not reading enough. It makes you feel like crap. You feel like you're not following through. You're like, okay, I'm not preparing myself for the future. Then you say the benefits are, hey, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to feel accomplished. I'm going to know that I'm preparing myself because when I go back to school, I've got to read all this stuff, right? So even just getting through this book and starting to finish books when I say I'm going to read them, it's really important because when I don't, I feel like crap because I feel like I can't commit to anything. Okay, good. So then where you are right now, then what happens if you just, go, okay, it's not that big a deal. I got more stuff to worry about. I'm not going to deal with that. What happens then? Give me a couple of things that will happen then. So she says to me, well, I'll just start books again and, maybe not finish them, but, I'm just tired of that. But this is where I'm at now. This is what would happen. I wouldn't finish them. And, it messes with my self-esteem. I don't really I don't feel like I'm committing or I'm able to commit to things or follow through with things. So that's the way it is now. So now we've talked about what you want to change. We've talked about what's going to happen, that benefit of changed. We've talked about what happens in the state that you are, right? Take all these things into account. Now let's get to the part. It's the crust of it. It's the meat of it. This is where the follow-through falls off. What has to happen in order for you to make that change what is, and have those benefits. Give me a couple of things that will happen. And she says, well, one thing I know for sure is that once I start with the book, my brain is going to tell me, okay, you've committed to sit down and read for an hour, but it's pretty outside. I want to go outside. I need to go and I want to move around. I want to do these things. Okay, that I know that I'll lose interest for a little bit, and I have so many other things that I have to do that I won't do it. I'll close it, or I'll read for a few minutes, or I'll look over at it and say, okay, I'll get back to you, and then I'll start watching stupid TV, which I don't want to watch so much more of. And she starts naming off all these things that are going to happen as she goes to try to follow through on this commitment to herself to read this book and have it done within a month. And so when we looked at it closer, we said, okay, these are what we were talking about earlier that are obstacles that you need to evict. So what do when you say, okay, I need to sit down for an hour, but I know I can't because it's going to be pretty outside? So what is your plan then? And in that moment, when you see it happen, that's when you have to implement that plan. You have to evict that obstacle and implement the replacement, right? So, okay, well, what I'll do then is I will, when I know I'm like, okay, it's pretty outside, I don't want to, I want to go out hiking, or I want to go do whatever, then you say, no, I'm going to do the reading first. I'm going to set my alarm for 1 hour, and I'm going to read for 1 hour. And then I'll go and hike. Or I'm going to hike to a place with my book and sit down for 1 hour and read. There's something, however you want to do it, you make that replacement. And so then what you get is, once you say, okay, that's what the obstacle is, because that's what makes you not follow through. Then the next one is that, I'll start, there's a show that comes on just at the time that I want to watch, just at the time I want to read, and there goes, I want to watch the show. So you have to decide, how do you evict that, right? No, I'm not going to do that. Or I'll catch the on demand of that show at a later time because I committed to myself. And so you have just those couple of examples of evicting the obstacle and replacing it with something that helps you follow through, because what you're trying to get to on that cost-benefit ratio, remember we talked about, you're trying to get over here to what are those benefits. And who even realized and knew that when you talked about, I want to, right, setting your priorities. That's exactly right, Sharon. Thank you. And who knew that when you go, here are the benefits, how does that make you feel, right? You feel uplifted. I feel like I am empowered. I committed to something. I followed through. It's going to help me read more when I'm going back to school. It's going to help me better understand all of those benefits, as opposed to what you actually feel in the now. When you know you don't follow through with that, it's like, because you have to actively take that place that you know that things are about to fall off, right? Because this is you. This is you. You have the ability, right? And we all do it. And we give ourselves an excuse. But just think about what is at the end of, what do I have to go through in order to accomplish this? You can have to go through so many things. If a person is trying to quit smoking, what do they realize, oh my God, I've got to go through these things. I'm going to have to go through withdrawals. I'm going to be mean. People are going to think I'm, turning into a monster for a while. You got to go through all those things. So put your big girl panties on, put your big boy drawers on, and go through it. Because at the end of it, when you go through it, you've got the benefit. And you know me, I love when I can then say, And then you do what? You put your win in your pocket. A good win is always good, but you do have to work for them. So when you're having follow through issues, my inspiration to you today is to make a plan to evict the obstacles at that point that makes you not follow through. Replace it with something that's going to help you get to that benefit. What is the benefit of you wanting to do that? What's the benefit of you wanting to brush your teeth, excuse me, a second time at night? You're going to have better teeth, right? It's going to cost you less when you go to the dentist. Whatever it is you want to do, go through what you have to go through and do it and put that win in your pocket. Because I'm telling you, you'll feel better for it. You'll feel more powerful. You'll feel more strong. You'll feel more committed and accomplished with each little bitty thing, all right? I want to get there on time. Well, guess what? You can't leave. If it takes you 30 minutes to get there, you can't leave at 20 minutes because now everything's going to be messed up. So I can go all into all kinds of things to help you connect, but you know what it is for you each time there's something that breaks you from following through. So let's get it done. Let's get in there, get the hard work done. Go through whatever you got to go through. Put that win in your pocket. So hope that helps. I will see you all next week. Don't forget, like, share, comment. Let's see what you're thinking about. Always remember, submit your questions. What's on your mind? What do you celebrate each win? Yes. What do you want to know about? What do you need a little bit of oomph for, a little inspiration for, your career, a personal thought? Send those questions to me. Let's address them. Let's find out and just get some insight on what's going on in your life, right? Also, too, I'm a life coach. Be sure to send me a message. Let me know if there's something you want to change or if you feel like the time is right, that you are needing some one-on-one coaching to get to another place where you want to be, accomplish something. Send me a message. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me know why these things are important to you. And let's get started getting you to the place that you deserve to be, the place that you want to be, because I want you to know that it really is possible. I know that for sure. So we'll talk to you. Have a great rest of your week and have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye.